El Paso, Texas.
Ground zero.
This is where U.S. Border Patrol began 95 years ago.
We just crossed the Rio Grande River. We are in New Mexico right now.
The El Paso sector picks up where Tucson leaves off just east of Douglas. But it's the land and water that make the big difference here.
We can't build infrastructure in this floodplain because then it would get washed away.
Agent Mario Escalante spent 20 years working in the Tucson sector. He's now back home in El Paso.
Me being from here, that was almost culture shock when I went from here to Arizona because I was so accustomed to this.
This downtown area has seen record numbers. This summer, agents arresting more than 1,000 migrants in just one day along the river.
A lot of people cross it and they don't know they're in the United States. The majority.
They think they
have to cross that fence.
Juarez, Mexico is about 50 yards away. You see the Mexican military standing by. The Rio Grande River separates the U.S. from Mexico. Not a whole lot of water right now. That's why this area is such a busy spot. In fact, you can still see some of the footprints here on the dirt. And just seconds later,
¿Cómo está, señora? Cuidado.
2 women and 3 kids make their way up the dirt path.
¿Cómo está, mijo?
Overcome by exhaustion and relief, they've made it.
Pásenle para acá para la sombra.
Agents move them out of the sun and under the bridge for processing, asking how they're related.
¿Quiénes son familia?
A woman and her teenage daughter.
¿De Honduras también? ¿Se conocen? No.
They met this woman and her 2 boys on the road from Honduras.
¿Son sus 2 hijos? Gemelos.
They're twins. Together, traveling more than 1,600 miles to get here. But their journey is far from over.
Right now, they're just looking to enter into the United States and hopefully find a way to be able to stay.
There'll be no violation.
As we drive down the road, we spot another family, a couple from Honduras and their little boy. I ask her how they got here. ¿Cómo llegaron hasta aquí?
Muy triste.
Very sad, her only words. Her husband tells me they've been traveling for nearly 2 months. They're seeking asylum to hopefully give their son a better future.
Entonces, eso es lo que esperamos, apoyo, que nos ayuden.
He says that all they're looking for is support and help, and he is ready to work. Muchas gracias y buena suerte. I wish them luck. They are heading to some of the most overwhelmed facilities in the country. So packed, they had to send thousands of migrants to neighboring sectors like Tucson.
From the end of March to now, we probably have outsourced about 5,000 or so.
But agents say traffic has slowed slightly in recent weeks. These armed Mexican soldiers can be seen along the border. Are they making the difference?
That's not something that right now we can say we're going to factor. It's still a little bit too soon.
The summer heat and rising waters could also be factors. But for the families that are already here, it'll be an even tougher road as asylum laws get tighter. Migrants, agents, and the communities they affect waiting on Washington to make a change.
So that we can resolve and find a good answer for not just the overwhelmed amount of people that we're seeing, but also for the people that are coming so they have a good answer once they're here.
So what happens to these migrants after they're processed and released into our communities? Next week, I take you to one church that has lost almost everything to help. You'll hear from a migrant boy describe the conditions he faced at facilities in El Paso and the response from Border Patrol. I'm Angelica Carrillo for KOLD News 13, live local, late breaking.